YouTube, how we doing? PPS here. Your boys back. We're ready for some basketball today. We got college basketball, NBA. We might even get some Stu UFC in here. We might start talking a little bit. We got some overnight action there. I believe the main card's at like 11. So we got a lot of stuff ready for you guys. As I mentioned before, joined by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Rainy Friday over here. I don't know about you. Like the vibes are kind of foggy out here. So, we're just chilling. Hopefully got some good action tonight. You kind of mentioned a lot of stuff, some UFC early in the morning as opposed to its usual late night time, thanks to being out in Saudi. But yeah, I've definitely got some bets for that. And we figured we'd touch on the slate today, give out our bets, and then next week would be the NFL week, props on Monday, probably fun stuff on Friday. So we just figured that would be the best for content, having everything next week be more centered towards that and, finish up the bets over here. So feeling pretty good. Got some good bets today. Solid slate. Excited to get into it.
Yeah, I think just to kind of give you guys a lowdown on what's happening, I think Monday is going to be kind of the big boy show just because there's going to be a lot of shows out and people trying to put out plays and move numbers and shit like that. So mark the calendars. Monday is going to be the day we drop our bets, our best bets, all of our like normal bets. Friday, I think, will be, those long shot fun ones. I do a lot of those head-to-head ones. I don't know if you do those. Yeah. I fucking love those. Like, those ones are great. So I like having those. And then Wednesday probably have some sort of basketball because college basketball on Wednesdays, dude, they're kind of hype, bro. They're pretty hype. And luckily for us, we got a couple winners from that. So we can kind of talk about that. We got 14 of you guys in here live with us right now. We appreciate you. Hit that like button if you could. We really appreciate all the support from you guys and tuning in as we transition over to basketball. Even though, next week we'll be back for the Super Bowl. We ain't going to miss that. I'll get my college basketball one out of the way. Nevada team total under 65.5. I mean, as sweat-free as you're going to get, right? I mean, there's really not much you can really ask for on those. Outside of those late fouls, they made this even closer than it should have been, man. Like Boise State locked those boys up after a quick start for Nevada. Boise locked them up. I got another live in at like 68.5 after that early start. I'm like, I'm trusting my boys. I'm trusting my guy, Tyson Dagenhart, down low. Obviously, a big win for those guys. But, dude, that atmosphere looked crazy. Shout out to Boise for locking up on defense. Talked about the regression of shooting. First half, they had about 5 or 6 open looks, man. And there's the regression. They're going on the road. They ain't shooting 40% all year. And, obviously, Boise State does a great job underneath and controlling that.
Yeah, no, I mean, this one got the job. I bet a live under as well in the game total at some point in this game that hit. So, I wasn't watching or anything. I was just like, actually, I was scrolling through and I was like, oh, this is on TV. That's fun. Let me bet the under and watch. And then I just didn't watch. But that's still cashed. So shout out to you. I got to start tailing more of these, man. It's fun because they're on TV so much. I didn't realize this.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
And I can watch like 10 games at once, So that's good for the DJ. That's good for the live bettors. And I love getting live bets in. So shout out to you, got the job done.
Yeah, I've been sprinkling more unders into the portfolio in the college basketball world. I had 2 I didn't do any NBA last night. Did 2 college basketball plays on just my my daily YouTube play of the day. And one of those was an under as well. And we ended up getting those. It's just, dude, I used to just be just straight overs, like looking just for over spots. But my God, like I said, I'm happy we ain't graying up here. But the reason what I would be graying for is how shitty some of these teams are at shooting free throws. And I talked about Nevada, talked about a couple of those other teams yesterday. Just such bad free throw shooting. Like, make your fucking free throws, bro. They're free. That's why, as much as I harp on the Badgers for being dog shit, those guys shoot like 80% as a team. That's why they win some of these close games. Like, it is so crazy to me how these guys are as good of athletes as they are. And you can't make a free throw. Like, lock in. Let's put these in the basket, man. And obviously Nevada did not do well there or from the 3-point.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, too, where it's now not even just college. It's NBA. We got shitty – like, someone told me that Kyle Kuzma was shooting like 57% from the free throw line this year. I had no clue. That's fucking crazy. to be getting paid this much money and like shooting like that, it's just insane. It's truly insane. I was never a talented athlete, you know. One of the things that my dad made sure I could do was shoot free throws, because he's like, anyone can do this. If you can't do this, it means you're not working hard enough. So that's like the one thing I could at least do at a, you know, above average level. So I don't know, man. It's always frustrating to me, especially when you like lose a bet on the free throws.
Yeah, dude. But hey, helped us here. We betting under. Keep missing. keep breaking. So end up cashing that one pretty easily. I didn't even get to watch the first quarter of this game. I saw Scotty had that game turn into an absolute blowout. Shout out to the first quarter though, right? That's why you do it.
I was gonna say that's exactly why we do it, man. The game, I don't think Scotty had any other props, and I swear I opened up Twitter and 6.5, 7.5 assists was like the play of the day over there. It's like, man, by taking away so many of these situations, if you've got first quarter props on your book, you should be playing them, in my opinion. I've been, you know, a strong proponent of this. We got the job done. This is my first public NBA prop of the week. I've obviously been putting out, or of the season. I've obviously been putting out some in Discord and stuff like that. But good to start off with the winner right here. I'm thinking we can keep that up today, because spoiler alert for a little bit later in the show, I am not leaving the first quarter market. I still have another first quarter spot today. So that's what's been treating me pretty well this season. And yeah, Scotty got the job done in our first one.
Yes, sir. Love it. And then heading over to my boy Cade. I don't know if there's any superlatives I can use, right? I don't know if there's any other superlative I can use for Cade Cunningham, man. This boy has been – some of these guys in the chat in my VIP group, bro, I bet Cade Cunningham more than any person in the NBA. And my God, I fucking love this guy. Playing 38, 39 minutes, ball in his hand the whole time. If you double, he kicks. He's such a dude. He just makes everything happen for this team. And obviously his shot looks so much better, dude, from when he came out of college, like when he's coming out of OK State. And it was just like, he was good. And then you realize, like, oh my God, this dude's 6'7" and now has a jumper and now like is able to really do everything. Great rebounder of the basketball. Shout out Cade. I think it was like 47, 48. And I really didn't really feel that close after that little run. I was getting nervous in the first quarter. Pacers didn't miss a shot. And I'm like, fuck, we're going to get blown out. And then all of a sudden Cade comes back in after those two fouls. He got those two early fouls. And I'm like, play him the whole damn second. Yep. Plays the whole second and gets you to like 26 at half. And I was kind of nervous there after those first two fouls. But shout out him. Obviously does his thing.
Yeah, and shout out to the coaching, too, because a lot of coaches are real pussies about that. I know Jokic was the recent example where he sat out all those minutes the other day. So it's just like, damn, like let a guy, because 3 fouls in the first half of a regular season game is not the end of the world. You know, it's not what you want, but these guys manage it like it's the fucking playoffs. And it's like, no, your team's getting your ass kicked when he's not out there. Because I opened up the ESPN app. I was like, holy shit, this game is over. And then, like you said, they made a run. And it was competitive by the end of the first quarter again. So they got right back to it and made it at least a respectable enough game where you could cash this ticket.
Yes, sir. And we actually get our first chance at a long shot this year. We cash it. Shout out to Domantas Sabonis. I saw a stat line in like the first half. The dude was like 6 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. I'm like, I love that shit, bro. I love it. Dude shot like 4 times in the first half. I'm like, keep kicking it, bro. Big time money there. Shout out to Sabonis for cashing over 3-1. But like I said, this kind of feels like one of those runs, like when you start doing it a few times, there's like, oh, let's go for it. You're close to almost every game. We might as well try and get it. And Sabonis ends up cashing a plus 320. I can't imagine I get anywhere close to that these next couple games. But hey, it was nice while it lasted. Shout out to Montes moving us up there. And then I think Jovic had 2. Did he have 2 threes? One. Yeah. 1. So it moves us already almost 3 units, bro. Like we're already almost at 3 units in basketball. We decided just to put basketball because I'm gonna probably have college every Wednesday versus NBA there, just because I've been playing a lot of college basketball lately, and I think trying to roll again. I ain't gonna have any today because the slate sucks, but we'll be back ready to do it. Let's get after it. Stu, we got today's slate. Nice. I think it's 7-8 gamer. Game of the night. Where are you watching? What are you turning on?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you look at it, you clearly know what the NBA wanted the game of the night to be with the Nuggets 76ers, obviously. Like it always does, injury kind of gets in the way of that, and it's, not quite the exciting game people might have expected. But that's always funny when you see a small slate. To me, you look at it, you go, okay, I know what the NBA wanted everyone to be watching tonight, but unfortunately, it doesn't always go the way they wanted. For me, I think the late game, probably Suns Warriors, is going to be a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna. That's one of those games you almost have to have bets on if you're watching, especially on late at night. Two very solid teams squaring off right there. I think that's one that definitely going to be interested in.
Yeah, bro. I might just hammer the Warriors just because of Devin Booker just being a whiny little bitch. Hopefully Curry can go out there and just put up a 50 piece in his face and tell him, hey, that's why you don't make the All-Star team, bro. That's why you ain't an all-star, right? Who are you kicking out, first off? Tell me that, Devin. Tell me who you're kicking out of the all-star game for you to get in. Like, I don't even think it's close, bro. I'd rather – if Ja played 3 games, I'd rather have him in the all-star game. This will do something cool. What's Devin going to do? Give me a mid-range jumper? I don't if you're not going to do anything crazy, you got to put up big boy numbers. He ain't beating Shea. You're going to beat Shea? They're going to put Curry in every time, even though the Warriors are what? 500. Dude's still making 6 threes a night. It's pretty wild, bro. There's just a lot of good guards in the West. It makes it a little tougher for you. I kind of, I like these shit show games, bro. I want the Bulls Raptors. That's my game of the night, bro. And I don't even think it's close. The total's up there. You have some stars on each side. Do I wish Levine was in there? Sure. But my God, dude, I think this is going to be just props galore. I'm excited for it. And thank you, Fantasy Better, because I'm tired of watching this dude. The dude's a bum. Honestly, I'm tired. Like, dude, fucking put him off the fucking bench. Put Beal in the game, bro. At least, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it, bro. Like, the dude's gonna start saying it's like politics of this. I'm gonna look at the votes, and I'm like, dude, who's he taking out? It's crazy, bro. Yeah, dude, Sabonis is it. Dude, it just sucks. You got Jokic there, like that. That's just cheating, dude.
Yeah, and I mean Booker, he's not like a very likable guy.
No.
Anyway, he always has that same kind of look on his face, no matter what. Like, I don't know, he's just not someone that's very easy to root for. So
yeah, he just whines about a bunch of shit. So yeah, Curry, Shea. Okay, who are you? You're not going in over them. Anthony Edwards, I ain't taking him over Anthony Edwards. I ain't taking him over Harden. Like, I get it. Harden's numbers aren't crazy, but the dude's still 22-8. And that's without Kawhi, and they're still,
without how. Yeah,
he's got 2 All-Stars, bro. 2 former All-Stars on that team.
And he's got Zubac looking like a beast down there.
I know, yeah. Zubac, shout out Zubac, bro. Yeah. Like, that guy is nice. It's like, where am I who is he going over?
Yeah. No, I don't care. I mean, fuck
it. Yes, exactly. And Luka's an auto start, bro. He's an auto start if he plays.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to kick someone to put you in. And, like, I'm happy that Jalen Williams made it because shout out Jalen Williams, bro. That dude is – I was watching that game. I was watching that game on, what was it, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. It was the Warriors Thunder. Gary Payton started getting right up in his face and doubling Shea. And Jalen Williams like, okay, and then goes 10 straight. Like, you have to have a guy like that. And when your team is what, 80% wins, 85% winning percentage, can't just do it all with one dude. So shout out there, Jalen Williams. I think that's his first All-Star game there. But it's tough. Yeah, I wish obviously Sabonis made it. He made me a lot of money, but I just had to get that out there because I saw that and I'm like, who the hell are we taking out, Devin? Like, you ain't better than any of these dudes. Truly, he's not. Like, and that's the thing is like you already have a starter in there, right? They have KD as a starter in the West, like, so you're second fiddle, and Beal has played better than you in a lot of these games too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's tough. I kind of like Beal off the bench, dude. He's kind of like that little spark plug and gets like he gets as many shots as he wants up. Coming off that spot. So, oh yeah, sorry. Hey, it must be the Eagles jinx, bro. For real. You guys beat Washington, and then bad things happen. I think we ended up putting down four something units because Dude, we should be 4-0. Fuck Karl Anthony Towns for not just staying out there, dude. Tibbs probably asked him, hey, you want to play 32 straight minutes? And he's like, no, I'm tired. And then they're up 30 and he doesn't come back in. So it's his own fault. We should have hit that shit easy. We should be undefeated right now. But, yeah, don't get me started on that bet. But, excuse me. Let's take a look. I don't think we had any check. Our boy Thomas in here. Dude, it's crazy. They're fucking terrible. Like, watching some of these college teams shoot free throws, it is hard for me to watch. Jake, all Super Bowl stuff Monday, bro. You're gonna get all of our props. Yeah.
Feel the peace.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll talk about it on Monday a lot more.
It is. Fantasy better. If you're gonna miss a show, that'd be a show to miss. That one's your one to sit out, or put that mute button on. You ain't gonna want to hear what I got to say either. So it's let's get this going. All right, I'll start us up. I'm gonna start out with my Bucks game tonight. The Bucks heading to San Antonio. I'm going to be rolling with Wemby. I'm going to go Wemby, points plus rebounds. It's tough to just take the points here, even though I think he has a very good opportunity to just do the points and be fine there. But Wemby, 17.1 rebounding chances per game so far this year. Obviously, really good numbers there. I think this matchup with Giannis and Wemby gets all the hype, but you got to remember, they ain't guarding each other. Like, Giannis is not going to go up against the opposing five. Right, they're going to probably have Brook Lopez in there to start. Obviously, he's going to be playing the drop coverage. I think Wemby puts up 10 threes tonight, probably 8 to 10 threes. So there's that. Obviously, been elite three-point shooter as well this year. I mean, dude's been unreal. So there's that. I think that if you have Wemby obviously getting those opportunities, maybe they switch and try to bring Bobby Portis in there. If they bring Bobby Portis to try to match the athleticism, he can literally just jump over the top of this dude. Like, Bobby he's not 7 feet. I think he's like 6'10", right? And then you got a guy with a 7'10" wingspan over the top of him, like mid-range game, all that. I have a really tough time seeing the Bucks slow him down. My other issue here is that drop coverage. I don't think they can get out of it. I don't think they have the defensive personnel to like be like, oh, we're going to now go over screens. That's not going to work. Like that, unless they just sit Brook Lopez. And Brook Lopez it hasn't happened even when they're playing Embiid, when Embiid cooks us, and all these other spots there. But yeah, first matchup, he went for 10 and 10. Obviously not great numbers there. They got nuked. I think the Bucks won by 16. But I will give them credit. Over these last few games, they're finally letting them kind of run a little bit, 35, 36 minutes, 23 and 12, 20 and 12 in those minutes. I think you just got to keep this game close. If it stays close, Wemby gets me to that 35, 36-minute mark. I think that's where we need to be, right? So if I think the game's close, obviously Wemby's going to have to do a lot of that heavy lifting. Spurs only 2-point dog, too, which I think is important, even though I have been burned by a 4-point favorite that loses by 35. So, shout out Memphis for that. Yeah, I just have a really tough time seeing the Bucks slow him down in any way tonight. But I don't think Wemby's going to be like kicking it. I don't think it's going to be more of like the kickouts. The Bucks just don't guard centers who shoot. That's why Nikola Vucevic is an auto bet for me every time he plays the Bucks, because that's all he's going to do is pick and pop. Why won't you do that here? I just trust in Wemby to shoot well. I know that's not something to ask, but you're at home, right? They're also in a home game here. So sign me up. I think he's trying to kind of, that matchup earlier in the year, he goes for 10 and 10 against the Bucks. That's probably his worst game of the season. And then you look on the other side, and obviously you get a guy who's probably as big of an international star as he is in Giannis. In that same game, Giannis went for 25 and 16 and 8, right? So, everybody over there in Europe was watching that game, and you look like shit. Show out here. Let's go.
Yeah, no, and I mean, he has a safe rebounding floor just because he's got to match that size, on the other side. Like, it's just kind of a given. He's got to get down and fight for those boards. But, yeah, I was just saying, I bet I don't necessarily agree with how many threes he shoots, but if there's a day to bet threes, probably a pretty good one. I mean, like you said, they're notorious for leaving those guys out there and letting him kind of take those shots. And, I mean, if I'm a defense against Wemby, I'd probably let him take those shots too, just because the guy's fucking huge. I'd rather him out there shooting threes than battling in the paint as well. So definitely a lot of upside for Wemby in this matchup. And yeah, like you said, you got the stakes raised a little bit with some international firepower going on.
Yeah, and you want to show out after just getting absolutely worked in that first game, just absolutely worked. But also, there's still some injuries going around. Shout out to Savant Castle. I wanted to give him a little shout out. He's been playing some good ball out there in San Antonio. So Stu's got one spot for us today, guys. I will kick it over to you. In that Boston game, wasn't expecting to see one in that game.
I know, and freaking Professor T in the chat got me. He called it with the zinger first quarter right there. No one's done that in a while on this show, so shout out to you.
He's been on fire, though. He's been like,
no,
even if it's not the exact bet, he's been on the guys that we are wanting to bet.
100%. But I mean, that's a good call right there. And I'm glad more people are looking at the first quarter stuff. Hopefully that influence keeps getting out there because, man, Porzingis has been one of my favorite first quarter players since the Washington days. That's when I really first caught on that this guy is a hot starter. He tends to cool down a little bit later in games. And that's really a trend we've seen throughout his whole career. I backlogged and looked at his past. And then I've been following and betting actively ever since. I kind of thought this angle would get killed in the playoffs when he kept popping off in the first quarter and then, cooling down later in the game, but it really didn't. And to me, right now we got multiple books at 5.5. The only one 6.5 is Bet365. Now I still would play 6.5, but it is kind of a key number right here because you obviously can get on either 2 3-pointers or 3 2s, which Porzingis is one of the few guys that has multiple different avenues to get you there as a center. He's going to be taking those outside shots in both games against New Orleans so far. He has 9 points in the first quarter. So not only has he gone over, he's very easily gone over. In addition, he had one of the highest volume 3-point games in the first quarter of the season. He took 5 threes last time out when he played these guys. When you look at comparable players, because the Pelicans kind of suck against everyone, so the data is pretty good no matter what you look at. When you look at guys that shoot threes, they've crushed him recently. Filipowski only played 6 minutes, scored 6 points in that one. Vucevic came out. He scored 14 points in the first quarter. All these guys that are able to extend and stretch. I mean, you guys see guys like Pirtle, Bam, a bunch of these guys still had 7 points without any threes. Like centers, no matter what, have done well. But I did notice like spike games specifically, including Porzingis, obviously with 2 of his, highest volume 3 games of the year in this matchup. I just think the thing that worries me would be blowout. Obviously Celtics take care of business. They're a great team. Do I like Porzingis in the full game? Sure. But when you look at everyone's stats, everyone right now that's tweeting out Porzingis picks, all their graphs and all their, stats are all telling you when he plays 28 plus minutes, when blah, 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 when he gets the kind of minutes I want him to get. The beautiful part about this market is outside of a few games where he's only been at 5 minutes for a limits restriction, when he's playing full time, it's going to be 8 to 9 minutes no matter what. When he has a really good game, it'll get up to 10 and 11, like last game where he popped off. He got up to 10 minutes. You're mostly going to sit at 8 to 9, though. It doesn't really matter who's around him, who affects him, the matchup. The minutes are very consistent. So once again, if you like Porzingis today and you're liking the full game number, but you have to confine it to make it look better, right? When you post your graph, you want that green on there. When you post your stats, you want them to look as good as possible. People always go, when he's playing 26 plus minutes, when he's playing 28, we don't need that. I just need him to play his regular standard first quarter workload. And for me, 5.5 points is simply just too low of a number for a guy over in 9 of his last 10 games. Coming in absolutely on fire, crushing this number in most of these games. I mean, just very surprised to see the 5.5 available. It's obviously a little bit of juice, so you gotta pay the price right there. But to me, this was just very easy to identify as a mispriced line. Pelicans' 4th highest 3-point frequency to the position. Like, he can beat him in multiple different ways right here. I think we see a couple threes, but overall, just a big fan of Porzingis in this matchup. And I think 5.5 is just simply too low of a number. And also, I will say, if you're an underdog user, that's, very popular app, they have 5.5 as like a core number available right now. I put a bunch of stuff with that over there because obviously they normally make you pay juice on it, but it's just the standard price on underdog. So I would go fire it over there as well if you have that available to you.
Good looks. Yeah, the minutes in the blowouts are just it's just nice to just eliminate that, like even if a team beats them by 30 in the first quarter, you're going to still get your minutes. They got their rotations down. Exactly. That's why you got to find those dudes who play heavy first quarter. Then they come in with like 6 minutes in the second and they play the whole third because they're going to play their whole third. And if the fourth quarter and they're, are getting pulled in the fourth, they already got in like 30 something plus minutes, so that's why You know, some of those Knicks guys, some of those other ones they're just good to play in those spots, man. They're almost, I don't want to say blowout proof, but they get their minutes no matter what. Like, you're not going to get those 24-minute games. They're going to be like 30, and they're usually getting 35, you know, stuff like that. So do like eliminating that completely there. All right, last one of the day. I'm going to be rolling with my boy Scotty. I'm going back to Scotty Barnes. I know you catch this first quarter. I'm going full game here. And I talked about this game as being the one I want to go to for sure. And this is that fun 234.5 game total. This Bulls team is going to be – they're hard to trust, right? I mean, without Levine, you take a lot out. But then you're also going to start seeing a little bit more Kobe White, right? You're going to start seeing some of these dudes that, you know, don't play any defense. I wish Levine was in because Levine is even worse. But my issue here for this Bulls team is they're absolutely atrocious at stopping points in the paint, right? They are so bad. They are the worst team in that aspect. Scotty Barnes averaging a little bit over 10 drives per game. He's a little bit outside of the top 25. Also, it goes up significantly without Quickly, right? And Quickly obviously is a questionable spot here today. It's a hip injury, so I can't imagine that it's a, you know, I'm going to throw you right back into the fire type thing. So obviously I like to see that. I think he had an earlier injury this year. I don't think it was hip, but he came back and played like 28 minutes. In this spot, dude, it's going to be fast paced, right? That's the only reason I think they're not going to bring him in and play him 30 plus minutes if he does play, because the first game he came back, they 30-piece Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's slow as hell and they stink, right? The Bulls are fast as hell and they stink, and you're gonna have to run and run and run. Coming off a hip injury, no shot he's getting those 30 minutes, even if he does play this spot. Also, looking at rebounding numbers, I want to play his rebounds because Vucevic is gonna pull Pirtle's ass to the 3-point line, bro. And that's why I love these spots, because you can start attacking all these other guys, especially a guy like Scotty Barnes who wants to rebound. Like, he's a good rebounding guy. He's averaging 13 rebounding chances per game. It's going to shoot up this spot. All right, I think we're going to see a lot of 3-point shots, a ton of from both sides in this game. A lot of lead outs for long rebounds, get those opportunities to get to fast breaks. Scotty's pretty much the heartbeat of this team, man, at this point, right? You got rid of Anunoby last year. Quickly has been in and out, and that's taking it lightly. Dude has barely played this year. I don't know. I think this is one of those games where, you know, we start to see Scotty Barnes do his thing. And 36, I thought this was going to be like 40, right? I really did. I really thought this would be a little bit higher, especially with how fast. Like, I don't think people know, like, the Bulls run, dude. That's all they want to do. Like, they just want to score, get their numbers, and we'll be good with that. I think also he could have been a snub, right? He could be one of those guys that you think about snubbing from the All-Star game, where, I mean, what better matchup here, dude? You get to play against the Bulls on your first game after an All-Star game snub, right? And not saying he, if I looked, like, I think he probably is having a little bit better year than Siakam, right? I mean, he's pretty much doing the entire thing for his team here. So, like, there's an example. I actually give you a guy you could take off to put Barnes in there, because Barnes is actually, you know, pretty much their whole team without everybody on this roster. Him and freaking Pirtle have to do pretty much everything, with Barrett being in and out of the lineup. 20 and a half, 8 and 6.5 on the year. Those are pretty nice numbers, man. So sign me up for Scotty Barnes. Get me those 36, 38 minutes. He's cooking this Bulls team, bro.
Yeah, we were just talking about this a little before the show, but yeah, this is just a fun one. Like, these two teams both kind of suck. Like, these games tend to be the ones that are good for props when you get them both flying, higher pace, competitive matchup. And I think, yeah, Barnes is in a good spot. I like how well-rounded he is. Obviously, that's one of the best components of his game. So PRA, you don't really leave any stat out. I saw Flan in the chat say he doesn't like betting on Barnes. I feel that way about single props. I like the RA, or I like the PRA. I like combining him with something else most of the time when I'm playing him, because you never really know what he's going to have like the pop-off game in, but we just like having the upside to do that in so many different categories. And obviously what you mentioned, the weaknesses with the Bulls defense, to me, it's kind of clear that he's the guy that's most able to take advantage of that. So definitely like Barnes in this one. Should have another good game.
For sure. I don't know how I feel about Sohan today.
I like the thought. I see where, because in theory, you need that size to kind of match what they're going to be rolling. For me, I don't like messing with the Spurs role players, rotations, all that. I haven't done that much this year. But in theory, I feel like
Is he starting at the 4?
I don't know.
Because I know if he starts at the 4, dude's out in 10 minutes. Giannis is going to run into his chest and get him 3 fouls in 10 minutes.
Trouble is going to fuck you.
But that's the thing is, like, usually Wemby can, like, negate all your stuff, and you can let a guy past you, he'll block it. Like, he's going to go right into this dude's chest. That's my only issue when I play guys that guard Giannis. The dude draws so many fucking fouls. Like, it's pretty crazy, especially when you're a superstar now in this league. So it's like, if I'm going to play anybody in this game outside of Wemby, I want to be playing, like, the Vassell's or, like, the Castles, who have literally nothing to do with Giannis. Like, there's no chance they get close to each other. So those are the guys that I have. Oh, Harrison Barnes. Oh, God. Well, feel bad. That dude's going to be a fucking rock today. That's it. Damn, I'm going to probably bet Giannis now.
I don't like the Spurs rotation. They just got too many guys going. Like that.
Average dudes. They're just like average.
Involved, but Sohan to me does make sense from a minutes perspective of just, I think the baseline would be improved as a defensive replacement, as someone that his defense would be needed. And he's not a bad playmaker as well for like a big. So I don't know. I see the logic. It's just like, it's been a tough rotation to break for me. And hey, I would not be surprised if Castle gets caught out there on Giannis a couple of times. He's a big boy. He plays like a wing most of the time anyway. He could get caught out because he pretty much is playing the 3. He could get caught out there.
Yeah, I like Castle a lot. I
do too. I wanted the Wizards to draft him. He wasn't available, but the guy played big in big moments, and he hasn't had a chance to do that yet. But I think that's something we'll see more as, the Spurs get better.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, let's get a quick recap, and then we'll take a look at some long shots today, Stu. Let's do it. So I'll kick it over to you.
Sounds good. We got Kristaps Porzingis over 5.5 first quarter points, -125.
Beautiful. I'll be rolling with Scotty Barnes over 36.5 points, rebounds, assists at -120. And also rolling with Wemby, points, rebounds at -115. Time to do it. All right, Stu. Long shots for today. Not a ton out yet. I see quite a few, but there's just not everything's out yet for those long shots. Is there anything that you're looking at here that you would want to roll with?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say we don't really have much to work with right now. Is kind of the biggest issue. I don't have any bets locked in right now. I'm trying to look across the board a little bit. I know you were just hating on him earlier, but guys that have been snubbed, I don't mind betting for or if they feel they've been snubbed, stuff like that. Like to me, especially Booker, like the first quarter, I know I keep talking about these markets, but if a guy if that is on his mind, it's going to manifest the most as soon as they get out there on the court. You know what I mean? So anyone that's been like snubbed or whatever, I think probably, to me, I wouldn't hate like a bet on a little spike performance in the first quarter or something like that. And I did see Flan in the chat said Vassell ladder. Logically, I don't hate that either. Just speaking about the kind of things that they give up on defense in terms of the Bucks, some outside shooting, a guy that could get hot from 3. But looking at his numbers, 3 threes is already -130. So it's kind of hard to build out there a little bit. Like 4 is +185. It's not too bad, but the price probably isn't quite good enough for me.
All right. I think I'm going to stick with my triple-double one. I'm going to stick with rolling with a triple-double, but I'm going back to Cade, bro. I'm going to play Cade Cunningham at a triple-double. I know it's not anywhere close to what Sabonis has been doing and how often he's been doing them. He's got 7 on the year, though, right? And I'm getting a +1,000 in a tight spread game, 1-point game, or supposed to be 1-point game. Cunningham at 14 potential assists per game right now. You go down the list of teams that give up points in the paint. This is one of them. Cade's 3rd in the league in drives. I just talked about it in the last game. I think that Cade's triple-double tonight, bro. I really do. This just feels like one of those spots because, you're thinking that this is going to be one of the Cade versus Luka. Now it's pretty much, hey, go play Spencer Dinwiddie and have him guard you. Yeah. Fuck that, bro. He might go for 50 points, actually. Fuck. Maybe that's the only issue I have is if he doesn't go for a triple-double, he's going to drop 50 and have 6 assists. So that's my only issue. Either play him at 50 points or triple-double because, dude, I don't know who's slowing his ass down.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's gonna be a fun game, honestly, for like just a regular kind of 7 o'clock game or whatever. That'll be pretty solid right there. And you like the close spread, solid total. To me, like, yeah, Cunningham's so well rounded. Earlier in the year when you're playing these, I was kind of surprised that the numbers were so low, but I just didn't realize how much he was producing. I didn't realize the rate that he'd hit these triple doubles at. So definitely like riding with it, and he's been fun for long shots this season. And it's kind of hard to play the base numbers.
Plus 1,000 is pretty wild too, dude. Especially for guys. I think he's like 4th in the league in triple doubles this year. So, big boy number on a close spread. Give me 40 minutes. Give me 40 minutes. Maybe get some overtime. Whatever we need. But I think Gaffer and Duran will have a nice little fun time in the paint, throwing hands at each other down there. So then you just get a nice 6-7 point guard just taking all those rebounds. So feel good about that one. I kind of like it more than points, though. I'd rather play this than points because if I want to get a big boy number on the points, I got to play like 35 now. Dude's been playing too well. He's been screwing me over. He's playing too well. His numbers are getting too high on me. So I think his points, rebounds, assists is like 46. I think what I saw, 45. Yeah, 45 at plus 110, or for 44.5. So thank God we got that 40.5 last game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and that's the thing. I think when these numbers get really high, I think you got to be a little creative in how you play these guys. And the long shots are kind of how we can, still get some access to that. So definitely going to be Ryan. Always love a good triple double bet.
Yeah. Hey, I will say, I think Scotty Barnes has 1 triple double. I did bet that triple double day. I did bet him on his triple double day. He's only had 1 this whole year. So I really wish he would be starting in the All-Star game. I know Brunson's been good, but fuck, dude. Cade's this whole team, and they're in the fucking playoffs right now. Like, Brunson's got, like, some dudes on that team, so it's like Cade single-handed. Once Ivy went down, like, fuck, dude. Like, this dude's literally doing everything right now, so I don't know how he doesn't get a little bit more love in the national perspective. Like, he's not getting it.
I think he's just kind of boring as like a personality, like as a guy.
He's not over the top.
He's not like flexing. Like he's just most of the time he's pretty like mellow, which isn't always the best for your marketing.
Well, he did have that one where he dunked on that dude's head, and then that's where I need to see that more often.
I remember that's why I stopped actually when I in mid sentence I kind of stopped because I remember that. But for the most part, it's pretty calm.
Yeah, I would say definitely for the most part, definitely not the over the top loud guy that's like, hey, look at me here. So, yeah, so good. Anything else, too? Anything you want to say about the weekend? I know we got UFC stuff. You got anything you want to drop for the people here? While they're all still in here and locked in. We still got 25 of you guys in here on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I bet some UFC for sure. I mean, this is going to be a fun card. I've been betting a lot of UFC. If you're in my Discord or in 4for4, I bet every single UFC card for last year. I'm probably going to keep doing that, especially now with no NFL coming up. I mean, because before I had to start my research, Thursday. I had no time, but now – man, we got a lot of opportunities, and this is a pretty solid card from like a watching perspective. I already told you, but my favorite long shots, I have MVP KO2 and KO3 at 16-1 and 22-1. If you're not a UFC guy, I think you'd still like MVP versus Shara. That's going to be a really fun fight. Shara, if you've seen anything UFC related, he's a one-eyed pirate. That's like all you need to know about him. Got a huge beard, and the guy. I don't want to say like he's due for a fraud check, but he's got some very nice matchmaking in his career where he's only faced strikers so far. He gets now the toughest striker he's faced in MVP. I think the sneaky thing here, MVP has said multiple times he wanted this fight. He asked for it. A lot of people are saying the weight class thing is going to hurt him by, moving to a heavier weight class, even though the dude is still, despite the fact that he's slender, he's still huge, got, big reach, all that stuff. But for me, I think MVP, he's got to beat him, like, not on the cards, because this is in Saudi Arabia. And unfortunately, if your name ends in an OV and it goes to decision, you're probably winning. Like, that's just how it goes out here. I'm really not like a rigged guy. I'm sure everyone knows that. But some of these decisions, Carlos Leal, however you say that guy's name, was the card opener a couple months ago. It's the worst decision I've ever seen in my life in any sport. I mean, the guy 30-27'd him and lost because the other guy was a local or more local, and he was undefeated as well. So if it goes to the scorecards, it's not looking good. And if the whole world knows this, then MVP's got to know this. Like, he's got to know that if his win condition is what he does best, hitting you with some crazy shit. He is one of the most unique strikers out there. He fights from a stance that you're not going to be able to get a training partner for at a high level. Like, he is doing everything on his own. So you're going to have to feel him out for a little bit. You're going to have to get the reads. And for me, I think the reason MVP wants this fight so bad is because when you have one eye, you're not going to be able to react to all these crazy strikes as much. Like, you're just not. And if the guy's hitting you from the weirdest angles of any UFC fighter on the roster, I think we're live here. I think we're live for some spinning shit. He knocked down Holland. He didn't finish him thanks to dancing on top of him. If he dances on top of Shara, I'll rip my head off, and I'll be very angry, and I'll tweet about it, and you'll see it. It's a possibility. The guy can. UFC fighters are dumb. If you've been paying attention to the news, you probably know that. But yeah, it's just like, man. Yeah, I had to throw that in there a little bit. But for me, the main card, that fight, and then the Adesanya fight, I think those are going to be a lot of fun. And I like MVP a lot. I think if it was in the US, it would be my biggest bet of the year for you. Not like the whole year, but so far in the year, for the UFC.
No, it does suck. Yeah, I hate the judges here. I think maybe if I want to throw a long shot, I'll throw a long shot on here. I really, really think Jasmine fucking knocks out.
Oh, I don't like this. Damn. Okay.
I really think she knocks her out. I do. Okay. Dude, Mara's cutting down, right? She's cutting down to a lower weight class. First off, see your cardio. I'll see you later, bro. I don't think that's lasting when you're cutting that much weight. As a girl, that's like 10% of your body weight, bro. You're cutting a ton of weight. First off. Second off, I've seen this chick she got that fight against Holly Holm winning off of 3 bums. She beat 3 bums, like absolute bums. Then gets a fight card against Holly Holm, who's 47 years old with arthritis and shit. Plus, that got no contest because supposedly she cheated. And then now I'm going to take, like, dude, Jasmine's fucking big for that class. So it's like, I don't think that Mara's going to be able to outstrength her. And I've watched her off her back way too many goddamn times. And she's just okay trying to throw up submissions. We saw her in that one fight. She got her face blasted, and they just had a doctor stop it because she had such a bad cut. Jasmine's a mean bitch, bro. She's mean, dude. She's going to take her head off. Like, I'm telling you. She gets on top of her more than one time, that shit's a wrap. She's knocking her out. I'm telling you, ground and pound finisher. I'm taking it 8-1. 8-1? Fuck yeah. I'm taking her. I don't think she subs her. Obviously, Silva's a high-level black belt. But fuck, dude. That's a mean lady on top of you who's trying to take your head off. And she could have a chance to get into the rankings, bro. I'm saying it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's going to be a good fight, honestly. It's interesting. I was a little scared. I saw Silva was trading with the Fighting Nerds in Brazil, which I'm not betting against any of those motherfuckers. And the leader of the Fighting Nerds is going to be in her corner this weekend as well. Like, to me, like, those guys, they've earned it to me. They've earned it. They trained with that other chick who's fighting soon, Brazil, and it turned her around instantly got a win. Like, dropping down a weight class, that's the scary part. How's that cardio going to last?
God, that's a lot of weight, bro.
It is.
For a girl to cut down that much?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to bet on that fight because my lean was the dog just because this is a step up in competition. But, man.
Well, really, it isn't, bro. She got a title shot after fighting bums.
You don't think for Jazz it's a step up, though, on the other side?
Oh, it is. But it's like it's a completely different – it's a different weight class. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that she's going to be able to carry that. Like, I can throw you to the ground like I was being able to, push you up against the cage anymore, bro. I don't think it happens. Dude, Jasmine's legs are like this, dude. They're like fucking tree trunks, bro. She's gonna push her up against the cage and just chuck her. And I'm ready for it. So that's gonna be my long shot. I'm taking her to win by KO at plus 800. I think that's gonna be my spot. If I had to take a long shot on this card, because a lot of these odds are just stupid right now. So
yeah. The only other thing I bet on this so far is I bet the 2 heavyweights earlier, Gaziev and Peterson. Yep. I bet that to end in KO at just even money. Just because Gaziev is trying to like boink you out there pretty much. That's going to be an ugly fight. But I think Peterson, like when you look at their wins on paper, it comes by knockout. Like I think that's just two heavyweights. Peterson, the only thing is
I don't know, bro. I took decision in that fight.
Really?
I took decision at plus 140. Plus 140.
Yeah, I think one of them gets the other one out of there. I don't know if either.
I guess
if one gets the other on the ground, though, probably
that's the thing.
Finish.
How's Gaziev ain't taking him down, bro? That's the thing.
He'll knock you down and finish you there.
He has fucking awful hands, bro. Don't ever say he's not good. He's awful hands.
That was his last fight. He boinked the guy and finished him. Or a couple
awful
of
hands.
I don't know. I think ground and pound is live for either of these guys. They're both
but you have to take him down. That's the thing. Like Thomas Peterson just went up against fucking Usman and kept him from taking him down. You know what I'm saying? And that dude,
so you like
Texas State Championship.
Like Peterson, then, if you don't think he's going to get,
I would take Peterson money line if I had to take anything in that fight.
Okay,
but I have to by decision because, bro, these dudes have no cardio, and if they're going to try and wrestle both of them, I don't think the only guy who has hands enough to knock somebody out on the feet, just straight out knockout, is Peterson.
There we go. Okay, Peterson.
So I'm either taking the dog at plus whatever the fuck it is, or a decision.
Because for me last time out, so I kind of like him, but I don't know. Gaziev looked kind of good out there, you know.
Oh God,
steroid juice, steroid juice.
You watch this fight and come on here on Monday and say that Gaziev looked good in round 3 when this shit gets there.
It's not.
I am gonna die, bro.
It's not gonna.
I am gonna laugh my ass off on this show, bro, because that dude. After about fucking 6 minutes, is gonna look like he ran a fucking marathon.
That's why we gotta get this done before.
He's not knocking him out. That's what I'm saying. He does not have the power to just straight up stand up and knock him out.
Hey, we'll see what happens.
All right,
I hope he gets knocked out. I don't want it. I don't care who knocks who out. I'll bet Peterson too. I'm fine.
That's the thing is that's why I took. If I'm gonna take anything, it's gonna be Peterson straight or the decision. Because I ain't trusted, even though he's not from there, he still has the EVN, bro. He's getting I think he's from like Bahrain or something like that. He's from like Bahrain, but it's like then you hear a guy like Thomas Peterson. That dude ain't gonna be over there. He ain't getting those judge cards when his name's Thomas Peterson. That's that might be too wide of a name to be getting love out there for your for the judges' scorecards, bro.
All right, final one. Nurmagomedov, Oliveira, not the two most famous people in the sport. People don't care that much about, but are actually kind of fun. I bet the under. What do you think about this? Because to me, I see Nurmagomedov has some chokes. He has a couple of different ways to get finished. Like I feel like both these guys high finish rate. Like to me, it seems like either one could finish the either one. So that I like those kind of spots for the unders. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, I don't know if I take him to finish. I don't know if I take him to finish Oliveira. I kind of like Oliveira. I just kind of like him as a fighter. I really want to play. I want the odds to go more towards Nurmagomedov so I can bet that 3.5, the spread. But it's at minus 150. So I'm hoping you see the OV at the end and we start seeing some money come in. I can get it like minus 130 for a 3.5. That'll be a bet for sure. I just want that plus 3.5 because he's gonna win a round, in my opinion. Because if they're gonna rob you. Right, they're gonna make it obvious, Rob. They ain't gonna give you, you know what I mean? Like they'll be like, "Oh, we just happened to give them a 29-28."
Yeah, but if it wins by decision and it's boring, then that's probably just gonna mean Nurmagomedov sat on the outside and kicked the whole time, right? That's probably if it's like the most boring decision possible. And theoretically, they could fuck him if that happens there. But
yeah, but I think if they're gonna fuck him, it'd be like 29-28. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it's like a split decision that the guy wins. You know.
Yeah.
Do I think he probably wins the decision? Sure. But I think I'm going to probably take the plus 3.5.
Once again, I'm hoping all these non-OV fighters hear this shit and go, I need a fucking finish. Because that's what all you motherfuckers should be looking for. Because if not, they're not. I mean, we've seen like clear robberies, like clear robberies with, UFC, PFL, all this kind of stuff over here. So, it's risky betting against these guys on the decision on the cards, and that's why I'm hoping that we get the finishes here, and hopefully cash some longer shot tickets as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we're out of here, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in on your Friday afternoon. We'll be back Monday. Super Bowl props, right? We'll be back. Miles, we do not post DFS lineup. I play But I won't post them, bro.
Technically, it's not even really allowed.
I don't even
right?
think I'm supposed to. Like, I'll tell people like what I like, but I'm not gonna give up. I can't give up my whole lineup, or else I get in trouble probably. So, and also I don't want to split my money with you, bro. Sorry, I don't want to. If I win something, I ain't trying to split my money with you. Unfortunately, I don't want to be splitting halvesies on that shit. So, but yeah, it should be good. I'm excited. I'll be playing the DFS for UFC tomorrow. It should be a fun card. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday. Be ready for some bets, baby. Be ready for your questions. We'll be ready to go. And let's make some money. Have a good one, guys, and good luck this weekend.